They are locked down with their abusers, and they cannot get help, and they are ignoring it.
A frightening trend has emerged during this pandemic. Domestic violence is rising as people spend more time at home. The Domestic Violence Network reports domestic violence deaths in Ohio are up 35% through June compared to the same time last year. Our 5 on Your Side investigator Joe Paganakis found African American women are suffering the most. And as he shows us, this will be a core part of tomorrow's Women's March right here in Cleveland.
Well, the Domestic Violence Network is urging Ohio to increase state funding, saying Ohio only provides $1 million annually for women's programs when Pennsylvania commits $16 million and Indiana $5 million. It's an issue that's part of Cleveland's Women's March. These 5 Northeast Ohio women are unfortunately aware of our growing domestic violence problem firsthand.
During my time growing up, domestic violence was what we knew.
Sandra Data survived domestic violence twice, as a child and as an adult.
So that became, unfortunately, normal.
These women will share their stories.
I lost everything, literally everything, to save my own life.
They will be keynote speakers at Cleveland's annual Women's March on October 17th.
But we will highlight Black women's issues.
Women's March organizer Kathy Ray Coleman says growing domestic violence, racial injustice, and attacks on women's rights, including abortion, will be a focus at the march.
And we're also concerned about funding cuts to services that affect women across this country.
Coleman says cuts in Federal Victims of Crime Act funding have cost Cleveland's Rape Crisis Center and the Journey Center for Safety and Healing $3 million in just the last month.
The combination of COVID and these cuts are absolutely putting women and children at risk.
Cuts that have taken place as the number of women facing domestic violence in Northeast Ohio continues to grow.
The support systems that they have been counting on to help them cope are not available to them in the same way.
This year's Women's March starts here at Cleveland's Harvard Community Services Center.
This march is going to energize those who are sitting by the sidelines.
The march starting in Cleveland's Lee Harvard neighborhood, bringing awareness to a community that has a high number of African American women in need.
Enough is enough, and we want change, and we want real change, and we want something done.
And again, tomorrow's Women's March starts at the Harvard Community Services Center at 18240 Harvard Avenue at 1 p.m. More than 500 women have already signed up. More information and links to the Women's March posted right now on news5cleveland.com, or you can use the News 5 app. I'm 5 on Your Side investigator Joe Paganakis.